1. Afghanistan. Afghanistan has been one of the most dangerous countries in the world for several reasons. It's been marred by conflict and instability for decades. The country witnessed a prolonged civil war, followed by the Taliban's rise to power in the 1990s, which brought oppressive rule and violence. After the September 11, 2001 attacks, the United States and its allies invaded Afghanistan to combat terrorism. While they ousted the Taliban, the conflict didn't end, and a resilient insurgency continued. The situation escalated in 2021 when the U.S. withdrew its troops, leaving a security vacuum and emboldening the Taliban. The Taliban swiftly regained control of the country, causing widespread insecurity and uncertainty. Afghanistan's future remains highly uncertain, with significant challenges like political instability, human rights abuses, and economic crises. Syria. Syria has been gripped by one of the most devastating conflicts in recent history. It all started in 2011 when protests against the government turned into a full-blown civil war. Various factions, including the Syrian government, rebel groups, and international actors, have been involved, creating a complex and chaotic situation. This conflict has led to immense suffering, with hundreds of thousands killed and millions displaced. Cities have been reduced to rubble, and the country's infrastructure is in ruins. The use of chemical weapons and other war crimes has shocked the world. Efforts have been made to find a peaceful solution, but a lasting resolution remains elusive. Many areas are still not safe due to ongoing violence and the presence of extremist groups like ISIS. Syria's population has endured unimaginable hardship, and reconstruction will be a monumental task. Iraq. Iraq has faced significant challenges to its stability and security, primarily stemming from the aftermath of the 2003 invasion by a U.S.-led coalition. The invasion removed Saddam Hussein from power, but also led to instability and sectarian violence. In subsequent years, Iraq saw insurgencies, bombings, and conflicts among various ethnic and religious groups. The presence of extremist groups like Al-Qaeda and later ISIS further exacerbated the situation. This led to internal displacement and a significant loss of life. While there has been progress in recent years, particularly in defeating ISIS and stabilizing certain areas, Iraq still faces security challenges. Political tensions, corruption, and social unrest are persistent issues. Certain regions, especially in the north and west, remain prone to violence and instability. The country's recovery and rebuilding efforts continue, but Iraq's path to enduring peace and prosperity is a complex and ongoing journey. Yemen. Yemen has been enduring a severe humanitarian crisis due to ongoing conflict and political turmoil. The roots of Yemen's troubles can be traced to 2011 when protests against President Ali Abdullah Saleh led to his resignation. This sparked a power vacuum and instability. The situation worsened significantly in 2014 when Houthi rebels, backed by Iran, seized control of Yemen's capital, Sana'a, and eventually much of the country. This led to a military intervention by a Saudi-led coalition in 2015, aiming to restore the Yemeni government. The conflict has resulted in a dire humanitarian situation. Yemen faces food and medical shortages, displacement, and outbreaks of diseases like cholera. Civilians have borne the brunt of the suffering, and the international community has struggled to find a peaceful resolution. Attempts at peace talks have yielded limited results, and the situation remains highly volatile, with ongoing clashes and tensions. Yemen's future remains uncertain, with the well-being of its people hanging in the balance. Five. North Korea. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea (DPRK), is one of the most isolated and secretive countries in the world. The country's leadership, led by the Kim dynasty, maintains strict control over its citizens, and very limited information flows in and out. Travel to North Korea is highly restricted, and outsiders are closely monitored during their visits. This extreme level of control and isolation has led to concerns about human rights abuses within the country. While North Korea is not considered dangerous in the same way as countries experiencing armed conflicts, the lack of transparency, limited access to information, and strict rules can make it challenging and risky for foreigners to visit. It's essential to follow all regulations and guidelines if traveling to North Korea and to be aware of the limitations and potential risks associated with visiting such a closed-off nation. These countries' situations are complex, and conditions can change, so it's vital to stay updated through reliable news sources and official travel advisories if you plan to travel or gather information about them. 6. Myanmar, Burma. Myanmar, also known as Burma, has faced significant challenges, particularly due to political instability and human rights concerns. For many years, the country was ruled by a military junta, which led to international isolation and widespread human rights abuses. In 2011, Myanmar began a process of political transition, moving towards democracy. However, this transition has been far from smooth. The military's influence has persisted, and in February 2021, a coup took place, overthrowing the elected government and leading to widespread protests. The coup resulted in significant civil unrest, with protests met with violence from the military. This has led to concerns about human rights violations, including arrests of political leaders and activists. The situation remains fluid, and the future of Myanmar is uncertain, with ongoing tensions between the military and pro-democracy forces.